our fundamental principles that guide our investment approach are among several. One is innovation with purpose. So we invest in breakthrough technologies that address some of the world's urgent challenges in the areas of sustainability and human health.
Welcome to Swiss Impact with Banerjees. Have you noticed how sustainability is not just a trend anymore?
Totally. This season, we are exploring the circular economy. The products are made to be used, reused, and recycled.
And we are seeing some incredible examples like turning ocean plastic into fashion or art.
Or creating electronics that are built to last, not just be replaced.
And we are going to spotlight these pioneers and see how they're driving real change and what can we learn.
And let's dive into it right now.
Dear audience, welcome back. Welcome back to the future of biotech and cleantech. A big hi to everyone tuning in from around the world and greetings from cozy, misty Swiss village.
the perfect Swiss autumn. Cloudy, wet, but full of charm.
Right. So, Ben, you just returned from sunny Amsterdam, where Global Impact Investing Network annual event, GENE, was taking place. I can't wait to hear your thoughts. So, how was that?
It's always a pleasure attending the GIN annual event. And this year was no different. The event was packed with experts and leaders from across the impact investing ecosystem. But what really stood out were the smaller funds and organizations who are really making a difference. But I have to say, I was hoping to see big players like pension funds really step up with bold and concrete actions.
Right. If they were really taking bold steps, we wouldn't be 62 years behind on reaching our sustainable development goals agenda, right?
Perfect. Spot on. Even in the Netherlands, where impact investing is leading relative or compared to rest of Europe, there's still a lot of catching up to do. And that was pretty clear from their commitment at COP16 in Colombia.
Okay, so just a quick clarification for our viewers. Don't confuse that with the upcoming COP29 in Baku, Azerbaijan. The one in Colombia focus on biodiversity, while the event in Baku will tackle climate change.
Indeed. And technology will play a very important role in both of them. The future really lies in investing in breakthrough innovations, whether it's in health, carbon emission, water management, etc.
You are so energized. Absolutely. And speaking of innovations, today we are taking you on a virtual journey to South Korea and the USA, where two visionaries are driving investments in businesses that are solving the world's biggest challenges while turning a profit. With this, I'd like to welcome our amazing guests of today, Dr. Jean Cho and Andrew Hyung. Hi guys, are you here with us?
Yes. How you guys doing?
Hi, welcome to Swiss Impact with Banerjees. I'd like to introduce you to our audience first of all. So I start with you, Jean. You have PhD in biomedical imaging and experience from Memorial Sloan Kettering. You have spearheaded breakthrough innovations in life sciences. And your leadership at SG Pharmaceuticals and Life Sciences Consulting has contributed to multi-billion-dollar M&A deals and successful investments like Aurum Therapeutics. You're passionate about transforming drug discovery and healthcare technologies. And you, Andrew, with a track record from Green Tech Capital and Deutsche Bank, you're ex-banker, right? Andrew, you have driven over 33 billion US dollars in M&A and 19 billion US dollars in financings. Your expertise spans energy efficiency, advanced mobility, and hydrogen tech, guiding early stage companies towards success. And both of you are now together at Valuence Ventures, which is biotech and cleantech investment leader, investing in deep tech that fuels a sustainability and healthy future for society and our planet.
So, welcome to the show. But first, just make it clear to the audience. So, you guys are in South Korea, US, and I met you in Singapore.
That's right.
So, where
That's
are you
right.
based?
So we are both based in San Francisco, and we invest mainly in North America and Singapore, and opportunistically in South Korea.
Perfect. So, although we have had the pleasure of introducing you, our audience is eager to hear directly from both of you as you come from such diverse and accomplished backgrounds. Could you tell us a bit about your personal journeys and what led you to steer Valuence Ventures into such innovative and transformative sector?
Yes, I'll be happy to go first. So first, Sveta and Ben, thank you so much for having us today. It means a lot to reach out to your audience, given your platform and your leadership. So again, thank you. As for my,
Thank you.
so, yeah, thank you. So as for myself, I embarked on a startup journey approximately 15 years ago when I was a fourth year student at University of Toronto. I had two startups. One we had a good outcome, but second one, after 9 months of working on it, we ended up failing. Me and my co-founders. Why? We didn't have a mentor. We didn't have the right guidance or advice because of lack of accessibility with venture partners, among others, in Toronto 15 years ago. And of course, the ecosystem has completely changed. But against this backdrop, I knew I wanted to be in the startup community and helping entrepreneurs out. But in the meantime, I wanted to build soft skills first. And as you mentioned with your kind remarks, I was an investment banker at Deutsche Bank and joined Deutsche Bank is a 77,000 employee firm and joined a 70 people firm called Cleantech Capital. At its time, we were probably the only ESG focused investment bank. We got into ESG before that those words were sexy, ESG or clean tech. But worked at Green Tech Capital as an investment banker, really helping corporates drive a sustainable transition. Around 2021, when Green Tech was going through an acquisition by Nomura, that was a time when I met Gene, and given our overlapping philosophy and our passion to help startups, we decided to spin out. We had a couple of investment vehicles, and finally we launched Valuence Ventures to really support the startup ecosystem and empower founders. Maybe over to you, Gene. Thank you.
Yeah, no, thanks, Andrew. And as Andrew mentioned, we met a few years ago, and after a few drinks, we realized, we had a very shared vision of where we wanted to be in our careers. And interestingly, though, my background is slightly different. As you guys mentioned, I'm a scientist by training, and biotech has been in my blood, in my family's blood for decades. Both my parents are biotech executives with PhDs as well. And they've also been in the startup community for the longest time. My father actually founded one of the first bioventure companies in South Korea back in 2000, and it was the first one to IPO on the Korean Stock Exchange in 2006. So in a way, deeply both biotech and startups have been, ingrained in my DNA since early on, and I think that's why I really want to be a part of this space. And what Valuance Ventures represents is this ability to really believe and support deep tech breakthrough technologies that have really that transformative power or potential to really redefine industries and really impact human health as well as planetary health.
Amazing. That's always great when bankers go to the good side of finance impact, right? So, what are the key principles driving your investment philosophy now that you are independent from other financial institutions?
Yeah, no, Sveta, thank you. So our fundamental principles that guide our investment approach are among several. One is innovation with purpose. So we invest in breakthrough technologies that address some of the world's urgent challenges in the areas of sustainability and human health. Or else we wouldn't get invited to this platform. Number two, science and technical driven diligence. We ground our investment decision in scientific and technical analysis to ensure that the technologies and innovations are viable, scalable, and defensible. Number three, deep tech focus with global and near-term scalability potential. We're not investing in moonshot projects, rather something with near-term scalability potential. And also, we're not investing in a Singaporean or North American innovations. We are investing in innovations that could scale globally and that knows no boundaries. Fourth, collaboration and ecosystem. We foster collaboration among founders, researchers, industry leaders, corporates, and regulatory bodies. And last, which is central to our philosophy, is our relentless focus on value creation. Many investors may ask this question, where they ask, is that the right investment for us, or is that the right company for us? But that's not the question we ask. Our question is always, are we, Valuence Ventures, are we the right partners for them? And that allows us to concretely identify where we could add value. So these are the fundamental principles that guide our investment approach.
Okay. And name, the Valuance Ventures, it sounds very intriguing. Can you explain the meaning behind the word Valuance and how it embodies your company's mission and vision?
Yeah, absolutely. And Gene, if you don't mind, I'll take this question. So Valuance is a combination of the word confluence and value creation. And our name embodies our commitment to merging innovation and impact. So bringing together a diverse ecosystem of players to generate meaningful long-term value for what we call planetary and human health, but also importantly for our investors as well. So again, the word valuance comes from the confluence and value creation, and it's about teams coming together to bring synergies and unique perspectives.
Okay. And the deep tech and bio sectors are at the core of your strategy. So what initially attracted you to focus exactly on these two sectors, and how do they align with your mission of creating a sustainable future?
So I'm gonna use the word confluence from the word valuance again. So right now we are seeing this confluence of factors converging. One, we have urgent need to deliver sustainability, and that's on the rise. Every corporates and many conferences that you speak at or you attend to everyone's talking about sustainability and how to meet certain sustainability goals. Two, financial and regulatory support are there. And last but not least, when we look at different initiatives like Inflation Reduction Act or European Green Deal, there's a push and support from regulatory bodies to bring transformative technologies from university research labs and into the real world. And that's what Valuance Ventures is doing right now. Innovation is no longer coming out of parents' basement or garage, but rather it's coming from research labs in various academic institutions. And our goal, we're not investing in just scientists or researchers, but our ethos and our value creation is also all about plugging them into the real world. And Gene, maybe we'd love to gather your thoughts on this.
Yeah, no, I mean, that's exactly right. And I think, the one thing I'd add is on the biospace, beyond the fact that obviously we're familiar and have a strong network in the biospace, I think the bigger thing is we believe that the foundation to a good society is based in health. The longer people live, the fuller lives they live, the more they could return and provide opportunities, creating more innovation in general. So I think that's why we're also valuing, bio.
Mhm.
And what I wanted to when we met, and you also explained to us that normally people start a fund or they create a fund, but in your case, you already started investing with your own money, and now you're just carrying on with it. So, as an early stage investor, why do you believe the earliest stages hold the greatest potential for breakthroughs? And could you share a couple of examples of how investing early has led to a transformative innovation, especially among the projects you invested in?
And maybe from my side, like how early is early for you? Put it in numbers.
Yeah, yeah. No, yeah. I mean, for us, early is even from ideation almost. We really believe, being part of that early stage where, what excites us, meaning these scientific founders who really understand the science, who really understand kind of the breakthrough technology that they have and how it can truly intersect with, the entrepreneurial vision, that big picture vision of how it could be impactful and, positive in revenue. Um, but I think the three things we really find most compelling for these early stages is typically one, early stage companies tackle large white spaces. They think of this huge TAM. The opportunities aren't fully concretized, so their ideas are grandiose. The sky's the limit, pretty much. I think the other thing here, the second thing is a smaller seed investment typically actually gives us more shots on goal, which is a weird thing to think of. But late stage investing, you've already kind of validated the technology, you've done all the things beyond it. So rather, you're focusing on one project and you're spending a ton of money on that one project. For example, in biotech, a phase 3 trial costs hundreds of millions of dollars potentially. I think the final thing is similar to that in the sense that you have more flexibility and a lot more optionality because you're early stage. So you could pivot as the markets change. You could pivot as things change and understandings change in the data. I think one key example for us was an investment I personally made in Aurum Therapeutics. That company first started off as an antibody discovery program. But as they started looking at the biotech world changing towards protein degradation, they realized, one, if we harness the protein degradation technology and combine it with their antibody discovery program, they could actually create a whole new subset of drug development programs. And that's what they did. They created basically what we know, basically a next generation version of ADCs or antibody drug conjugates. And this has been successful for them because now big pharma is calling and asking for their assets, spending hundreds of millions of dollars. I think that shows exactly that mindset of being able to be flexible and pivoting and all that. So, we really believe, when we give the greatest breakthroughs, we really see the greatest breakthroughs coming from some of the smartest and brilliant, scientists and entrepreneurs that have all these resources and opportunities to pursue some of their bold hypotheses that many of us don't necessarily see or grasp all the time. So I think that's where we find that ROI is greatest, both financially, but also societal wise for humans and humanity as well.
I mean, from my
To,
side, big respect to those who support early stage because, of course, it's more risky, but somebody has to do that, right? Otherwise, innovation wouldn't be there. Can you name what are the breakthrough technologies that you are most excited right now? And of course, especially in your fields, biotech and clean tech.
Yeah, no, obviously there are a lot of great technologies out there, especially in the biotech world as well. And I'll talk about that a little bit first. But I think the one big thing that really excites me is gene editing. Gene editing has come a long way. We see it now more ubiquitously across many different industries, even not just in the biotech healthcare world, but overall, like as we're working through, gene editing, there are newer and newer tools and technologies out there, and we're really at this, cusp of transformational change in healthcare and how we truly understand gene editing tools and how gene editing can work for us. We can harness the power of biology to become factories for us. We can harness the power of biology to really cure us from diseases that we thought were just death sentences. I think, when CRISPR was first brought into the market, we didn't truly appreciate or understand its power. As we've learned more and more about how gene editing works, I think we really understand now how it could even drive AI development and AI platforms. When we're thinking about bio-based focused or bio-driven AI platforms, CRISPR is kind of the key to unlocking all the data that we need and really enhancing that. But CRISPR has its own limitations. So there are now newer tools, newer gene editing tools, and newer gene delivery tools that will really kind of take it to the next level. And some of them are based on synthetic biology, which opens new possibilities and new opportunities in the field of medicine, but also the field of other industries.
So on Cleantech side, so the innovation in two fields that we're excited about are, I'll kind of build up on what Gene talked about on the synthetic bio and advanced materials. So on synthetic bio, as Gene alluded to earlier, it's the intersection of bio and cleantech. Why we like it, there's so much potential. So there are aspects where there are biomanufacturing, such as engineering of microbes to produce high value chemicals, and also materials in sustainable way. This will pave path to eliminating certain harmful practices and harmful substances. Also, biomaterials to lower environmental impacts, reducing reliance on those resource-intensive materials such as plastics, metals, and chemicals. And in addition, what we're truly excited about are advanced materials, and these are really driving breakthroughs that improve sustainability, energy efficiency, and environmental performance. For example, advanced materials such as solid electrolytes are key to developing solid-state batteries that offer improved energy density, longer lifespan, improved safety compared to traditional lithium-ion. And this is driving EV adoptions.
Yep.
Another one will be advanced insulation materials like aerogel or phase change materials provide superior insulation, which is helping reduce energy consumption for heating and cooling of buildings and enabling cold transport. And this is significantly reducing carbon emissions. And whether it's membranes to advanced composites, the list goes on when it comes to advanced materials.
Okay. And we live in Switzerland, and Basel, for example, is one of the centers of all the major pharmacies. And what we were thinking about is that biotech and AI are reshaping the whole healthcare. But what emerging trends, particularly as you must have known about Novartis and all that, who are focusing more and more on personalized medicines and synthetic biology, do you believe that this will have a very major significant impact on healthcare?
Yeah, no. As I mentioned earlier, I do think AI is changing and revolutionizing with, the advancements of biotech. But, AI-driven drug discovery and AI in personalized medicine has been kind of a key phrase for the better part of the last decade. But and the idea was to help solve some of the inefficiencies of the drug development process and medical care and so forth. But up to now, the gains have been fairly modest. And so the question is why? And you could point to a lot of different things, but I think the two big reasons is one, we lack a full picture in how truly biology and the physics behind biology and all that really works. Up to now, we didn't have as many of those tools. Now we do have more and more interesting tools out there, like AlphaFold recently with their next iterations. There are tools around designing novel, intelligent molecules and so forth that both look at efficiency but also safety. We see a lot of these improvements on the horizon. So there is a lot of this data-driven discovery, and there's a lot of this accelerating innovation and automation. And we'll see in the next few years how well this truly changes kind of the drug development side. I think the second thing, though, is so far, unfortunately, the data has been poor. The saying goes, you reap what you sow, right? Input quality determines output quality. So when we look at some of these companies, we want to make sure we're investing in companies that are really forward-looking with their data, that they have good, clean, high-quality data, and they're doing it in a way where they could store it in a very clean, structured fashion. Two companies we've invested in are doing exactly that. They have developed novel, unique, biologically relevant data. foundational data sets, large data sets that are cross-disciplinary, across different ideas in the biology space. And they really kind of harness that technology to really, one, create a comprehensive database, but two, the idea is using that data, they continue to develop novel insights. They have iterative data generation, which enhances eventually the predictive modeling that we see right now. So I do think we are at that cusp. As I mentioned, CRISPR is helping with that. We'll see how far it goes in the next few years. I do think we will see a lot more of an impact of AI in the space.
Okay. And I was going through your website. So you have quite a massive, very impressive multidisciplinary team. So how does your team's expertise in science, engineering, and business shape your investment strategy and drive portfolio success?
Yeah, no. As you mentioned, we have a very strong multidisciplinary team, and we're very diverse. Each of us have personally diverse backgrounds, but also as a team, I think we have a diverse set of skills that really give us the opportunity to talk the language of science, to talk the language of entrepreneurship, business, finance, etc. We're very fluent across kind of different industries in that sense. We also are very good at the cultural differences that you see between Western and Asian society. I think, there are unique ways of talking to people and building relationships and building business in both mindsets. And so I think luckily both Andrew and myself exist in that in between. So we are able to bridge that. But yeah, I think overall, our team is strong because we can evaluate scientific merit, really, risk adjusted and understand that technical risks early and structure these investments and help with supporting these companies based on our ability to provide both financial and strategic resources through their critical development.
Amazing. And guys, do you measure the impact? If yes, how do you measure your social environmental impact of the portfolio?
Answer is of course yes. So on the social side, at pre-seed and seed stage, the focus is on impact intentions and ambitions of the founders. And over time, this will shift to outcomes achieved. And best practices would be to articulate a measurement plan at point of investment, even if certain KPIs can't necessarily be measured straight away. What we look for will be mission alignment and problem addressed. Remember, our investment principles is innovation with purpose. Two is inclusivity and access. Does their underlying technology include everyone, and is that also is it accessible to everyone? Team diversity is key, and this is something we follow as well. We have 1/3 of our total co-founders are females. With our next investment, this will be 40%. And 44%, yes, and 44% of our co-founders are immigrants. And with our next investment, this will actually be 50%.
Okay, then I can apply also, I think. I have a chance there. Not everywhere is still we have chance, but looks like these guys understand who is in power.
And last on the social side will be ethical consideration and their planning. And now, Sveta, let's move on to the environmental side.
Let's do that.
So we don't necessarily have many data points to run, IMM with global impact investing rating systems or others, but our fundamental philosophy is to invest in technologies that have at least 1 gigaton of carbon dioxide or greenhouse gas emission reduction or save lives.
Wow.
So, we look at the top-down approach. What is the total avoidable emissions, and at the technology level, but in platform, not just one shot on goal, but multiple shots on goal. So, for example, and thank you so much for going through our website. For example, we'll look at Novel Farms. Novel Farms is a Berkeley, California-based company that produces mycelium-based edible scaffolding and growth media that enables cultivating meat. Um, just from the cattle alone, there's 1 to 1.5 gigatons carbon of greenhouse gas emission. If cultivated meat were to make up 10% of global meat consumption by
Yep.
2050, so that in itself is already 1 to 1.5, and I hope that's a conservative estimate.
Yep.
And we also look at mainly on scope three, land, water, energy-related carbon reduction, which accumulate to approximately zero point 0.5. But we talked about platform, right? So we look at their platform not just on the cultivated meat, but it also enables tissue engineering, which have multitude of application, and particularly in the field of cosmetics. So tissue engineering eliminates emissions associated with animal care, breeding, transportation, and this reduction from sustainable sourcing, streamlining the production process and reduce land and water. So with this platform, we're looking at additional zero point 0.1 to zero point 0.3 in gigatons of greenhouse gas emissions. And what we will do is we'll benchmark this against other startups or other innovations in that particular sector. So we have this natural tendency, not by design, or by design, to go after platform technology with multiple shots on goal. Why? Because they enable not just one sector or one industry, but have a potential long-term impact on others. And one last thing I want to make sure that I address is that we also look at binary no harm, do no harm approach. So, we talk about this word greenwashing a lot, right? So, these are where there are well-known example that comes with a tale of destructive impact on the planet, while it still sounds impactful.
Yep.
So one clear example that comes to our mind is deep sea mining.
Yep.
While it may be very positive on the environment impact, it's really tough for us to assess the total impact, because there is a negativity, or there is a negative aspect to it as well. Because we can't fully assess the environmental impact. These are what we call our binary approach. We'll just
Yep.
not we don't know better to invest in it, so we'll stay away from it.
Thanks, Andrew. That was amazing. I didn't expect such a detailed answer. Sometimes you ask how do you measure impact, and people actually don't do that even.
No, this
So
is
Yep.
the metric we're
mm,
passionate about, which is fundamental to our philosophy.
amazing. And now I have a big question about your long-term vision for the company, and like where do you stand now and where do you want to be with that? So in terms of assets under management as well.
No, thanks for that question. So as we mentioned, so instead of limiting our geography to just Singapore, North America, and Korea, our long-term vision will be to be a leading global deep tech venture fund that will transform industries, mitigate pressing climate challenges, and advance human health for a sustainable future. And we see our fund evolving in several ways. And Sveta, as you mentioned, growth of our fund and influence. This is our first fund, which has $25 million target AUM. But
Mhm.
our long term, we do want to grow our fund so that we have greater influence, um, not just on our portfolio companies, but industry or investment as a whole. Help drive market adoption. Gene alluded to it earlier that um, our impact, what we have as a dynamic team is we have different connectivity with governments and regulatory bodies, but also corporates. So we are putting, as Valuence name suggests, we're putting all the teams and ecosystem players together to drive market adoption to accelerate the sustainable future and save lives. Global expansion, as I alluded to earlier, not just in Singapore, South Korea, North America, but really have presence globally.
Mhm.
And thanks for your um, what you said about our environmental performance or impact measurement, but we do want to refine this, and our goal is to really adopt a standardized IMM metrics that we could use throughout all our investments. And lastly, something I'm truly passionate about are work closely with regulatory bodies and various stakeholders to drive adoption process and different regulations to accelerate, what we call the sustainable transition
Yeah.
and human health.
Okay. And in venture capital, what our experience is that you have to take risks. Can you tell us, for example, about a time when you took a big risk which paid off in ways maybe you didn't exist or expect?
Or maybe you never did take such big risk. That can be as well.
Yeah, no, I could answer that. I think all our investments are big risks. Because we are doing early stage investment. We're doing a deep tech investment. Risk is always part of it. But I think we do make that concerted effort to do full evaluation of these technologies, where we really try to understand what the technical risks are, what the risks its commercial pathway are, and all that, and try to really provide the support. I think without a doubt, in the biotech world, any of the companies we're investing in are high risk companies, Medic or Abalone Bio. They're working on both a platform technology that they can use as a service, but also they're trying to develop their own therapeutics. And if you look at the probability of success of a therapeutic from early stage discovery all the way to approval, most of them are around 10 to 20%. Most sane investors would never put millions of dollars in something where they only know they have a 10 to 20% chance of success. So I think, we definitely understand that risk, but we're still part of that because I think we could truly appreciate it. We understand how this technology works. Also, the companies we're investing, as Andrew mentioned, and as we mentioned, they're platform technologies. So there's multiple shots on goal. And because they're so early stage, they're allowed to pivot. They're allowed to kind of, oh, this isn't working. They see early signs. There's maybe roadblocks ahead. Maybe the industry is changing. These are things that we could help out also because of our connections, because of our advisors, because of our
Mhm.
experience. So I think that's where we also really feel like, yes, these are high risks, but we're definitely able
So
to.
what?
And Gene,
Oh, that's fine.
if I could add on top of that, and Ben, to also address your question, we we don't invest in companies that we can't help de-risk.
Mhm.
Our investment process, we don't write a check in a week or two. We go through this very rigorous science and technical diligence. We also potential, not their customers, but we will identify who their potential will be. We will interview them, and we'll always have a KOL or key opinion leader who will validate the technology and go through this really rigorous diligence process in addition to our in-house capability of diligence in companies. So just to build on top of what Gene said is yes, we are investing in what investors call or what people call risky assets, but our goal is to really help de-risk all facets of their business profile and technology as well.
And and what I would like to ask is that for the investors among our audience, what do you have any question or a request or any advice for them?
Yes, our request will be or our call to action will be, let's scale science for a better world. Um, let's connect the power of science and deep tech to practical and impact outcomes, not investing in moonshot projects or research papers, but something that is near term that not just us, but we as an entire community could help realize and help us scale deep science and technology innovations that have potential to revolutionize industries, protect planet, and improve the quality of life. So that will be our humble request to your listeners, to your viewers and investors.
And for
Yeah.
your fund directly.
Sorry.
So is your fund also open for external investors? Can they also invest
Oh,
in your fund?
Ben, yes, we are looking for limited partners to join our mission. Um, I don't know if this is a marketing platform, but please,
Yeah.
if you want to be part of our mission, invest in deep science or help scale deep science for betterment of human health and planetary health, please do reach out to us at andrew@valuence.vc or Gene@valuence.vc. Valuence is spelled VALUENCE
Okay, guys, the time is running out. Actually, it has been so exciting today. But could you share the final call to action to our global audience? Whoever wants to go first?
Yeah, no, I'll take that first stab at it. So for me, collaboration is the heart of innovation. I like to kind of go back to high school English with 16th century English poet John Donne and his poem Meditation 17, where he says, "No man is an island entire of itself. Every man is a piece of a continent, art of the main." I think that really that human interconnectedness and mutual reliance is truly the foundation of innovation. Innovation, breakthrough technology, these groundbreaking ideas don't just come from isolated efforts. They come from collaboration. They come from, resources, expertise, solutions that all come to play together. And so you need, a plethora of experts. You need resources. You need institutions, academic research institutions, government institutions. You need corporates, all involved playing a significant role. And that's what we've created here at Valuance as well. We work with partners such as A-Star in Singapore, or Berkeley Skydeck, or Genopole in France, Weizmann Institute. We talk to all these different institutes, and we talk to all the experts, and really, understand how we could bridge the gaps that we have, understand the different sectors that we need to understand, and really understand the resources support that is needed to really be successful. That's we talked about de-risking. This is one of the ways we de-risk through collaboration, through partnerships. And that point of every man is a piece of continent. Similarly, like every breakthrough technology needs a robust ecosystem.
Wow, SDG 17, do collaborate. Andrew, what about you? What's your call to action?
You know what? I have so many things to say, but I think it's best left unsaid after Gene's response.
Thank you, Andrew.
Yeah, I can't top that.
Thank you very much, both of you gentlemen.
Thank you for joining us,
It
guys.
was a pleasure
Yeah,
having you.
thank you so much for your time. Appreciate it.
Appreciate it.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
So, dear audience, with this, we end the show today, and looking forward to bringing another such an amazing story for you next week. Bye for now.
Yes, invest with impact. Bye. Thanks for joining our circular journey. We hope you are as pumped about sustainability as we are.
Absolutely. And if these stories didn't get you fired up, we don't know what will.
Hit subscribe and follow us everywhere. TikTok, LinkedIn, YouTube, you name it. And share it with your family and friends.
And if you got a cool story or want to connect to our guests, let us know.
Stay tuned for more inspiring episodes. Let's keep evolving towards a sustainable future together.